name that we give to Jahannam, but there are lots of types of Jahannam, or hell fire as we call it. The first one is Jahannam. قُلْ نَارُ جَهَنَّمَ أَشَدُّ حَرًّا لَوْ كَانُوا يَفْقَهُونَ. That Allah Ta'ala says that Jahannam is the first stage of hell, and it is the entrance of hell. Its fire is hotter, according to the hadith, 70 times hotter than the Jahannam in this dunya. 70 times hotter than the fire in this dunya. This is known as Jahannam, and people who disbelieve in Allah Ta'ala, their abode shall be Jahannam. The second one that Allah Ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Ma'arij is called Laza, the second stage of Jahannam. Kalla innaha Laza. Allah says that there will be a certain type of people, we shall throw him into Laza, which is a type of hellfire. Nazza'atan lishawa. And this hellfire will be of such severity that it will remove the scalp from his head. You know, the skin on top of your skull. Nazza'atan lishawa. It will burn you to such a degree that the first thing that will peel off from your body will be the scalp on your head. And who is this one for? Who is Laza for? تَدْعُوا مَنْ أَدْبَرَ وَتَوَلَّى. They are the people who turned away from Allah and وَجَمَعَ فَأَوْعَى. And they are people who hoarded wealth. You will see a theme about how we treat our mal. تَدْعُوا مَنْ أَدْبَرَ وَتَوَلَّى وَجَمَعَ فَأَوْعَى. They are people who, they spent their time in this dunya gaining more and more wealth, hoarding more and more wealth, and they gave little away in the way of charity and sadaqah and even zakat, and Allah Ta'ala has designated Laza, the second stage of Jahannam for these people. That's the second stage, my dear brothers. Jahannam is the entrance. Everybody will walk through the entrance. If your final abode is Jahannam, number one, you will walk through that door. Number two, for the people who hoard their wealth, تَدْعُوا مَنْ أَدْبَرَ وَتَوَلَّى وَجَمَعَ فَأَوْعَى. They will go to Laza. The third stage, Allah Ta'ala mentions the third category of Jahannam is called Saqar. Saqar, Suratul Haqq, right? مَا سَلَكَكُمْ فِي سَقَرٍ. There will be a group of people, and they will grow up with others in this dunya, and one group will go to Jannah and the other group will go to Jahannam. And the people who go to Jannah, they will look at those people and they will say, what happened to you? We grew up together, we lived together, we stayed together, and we lived our lives together. We had children together, we had families together, we got married at the same time, we went to school at the same time. مَا سَلَكَكُمْ فِي سَقَرٍ. Saqar is the name of this particular Jahannam. What has landed you in Jahannam? What happened to you? He will respond, or they will respond, قَالُوا لَمْ نَكُ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. They will say, we were not from the Musalli. We were not from those people who used to pray Salah. We were not from those people who used to pray Salah. قَالُوا لَمْ نَكُ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ وَلَمْ نَكُ نُطْعِمُ الْمِسْكِينَ. And we never fed the miskin, we never fed the poor. وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ. And we used to engage in falsehood, backbiting, slander, lies, talking behind people's back. وَمَا كُنَّا نُكَذِّبُ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. And we used to deny the day of judgment. The people who go to Saqar, the third type of Jahannam, my dear brothers, لَمْ نَكُ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. People who don't pray. وَلَمْ نَكُ نُطْعِمُ الْمِسْكِينَ. And the people who never actually had any concern for the miskin, who never used to feed the poor. وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ. And they have this habit of backbiting, of slandering, of talking behind people's back, engaging in ghiba, namima, qattat, buhtan, these kind of things. To engage in backbite and slander. This particular Jahannam, Saqar, Ma salakakum fi Saqar, is for these types of people, my dear brothers. Guard your salah. Lam naku minal musallin wa lam naku nut'imul miskin. Open your hearts so that you are benevolent towards the miskin. Feed the poor as much as you can. Wa kunna nakhudu ma'al kha'idin. And refrain from unnecessary talk, especially backbiting. Wa kunna nukadhibu biyawmiddin. And the people who are kuffar, they deny the day of judgment. Inshallah, that's none of us here. We all believe in the day of judgment, but there are other characteristics that we must make sure we stay away from. That is the third category of Jahannam, which Allah Ta'ala mentions in the Quran. The fourth category Allah mentions is Hutama. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةُ. Hutama is Allah mentions in وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ in this surah. Hutama is interesting. Narullahi al-muqadatu allati tattali'u ala al-af'ida. Hutama is the fire which is so severe, it burns you from the inside out. It burns your organs from the heart, and then it burns you from the inside to the outside. It doesn't burn you from the skin working inside, it burns you in the heart. Allati tattali'u narullahi al-muqadatu allati tattali'u ala al-af'ida. It starts burning you from the heart, and then it works its way outside. Such is the severity of this fire. And who is this Jahannam for? Allah mentions in the beginning of the surah, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. People who engage again in falsehood, people who engage in false talk, people who are incapable, unable to control their tongues. The more you speak, the more mistakes you make. مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. Every single word we utter, my dear brothers, is recorded in a register for account on the Day of Judgment. The more you speak, the more we speak unnecessarily. That's not to say you should sit in silence all day, but to engage in unnecessary talk, especially talk which involves other people, especially talk in which you don't know the facts. It's best to leave this talk aside, because you will be accountable on the Day of Judgment. This is Hutama number 4. The 5th stage of Jahannam is called Jahim. خُذُوهُ فَغُلُّوا. Allah says in Surah Al-Haqqa, grab them, seize them, shackle them. خُذُوهُ فَغُلُّوا ثُمَّ الْجَحِيمَ صَلُّوا. And burn them in the fire called Jahim. ثُمَّ فِي سِلْسِلَةٍ ذِرَاعًا فَسَبْعُونَ ذِرَاعًا فَاسْلُكُوا. It will be held by 70 chains. And who are these people for? They are again the people who did not feed the poor. Again, this keeps on coming up. 3 times it's come up now. The people who refuse to feed the poor, to have any benevolence to the poor. That Allah Ta'ala has given us mal, has given us blessings in this dunya, and we refuse to actually open up our hearts and to feed the poor. That they will go to the Jahannam called Jahim. Number 6 is called Sa'ir. وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Sa'ir is the 6th stage of Jahannam. Who is this one for? Allah says in Surah Al-Mulk, لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ. They are the people who didn't listen nor did they reason. This category is interesting, because these are the people who believe in Allah Ta'ala. They are people who go to the masjid. They are people who actually listen to what the imam or whoever is saying, but they don't listen and they don't practice upon what they have been taught. لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ. They will say on the Day of Judgment, if only I was somebody who used to listen and who used to reason with what I was told. If that were the case, that وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. I would not be amongst the companions of the Sa'ir. I would not be a person of Sa'ir, which is the Jahannam, which is the hellfire for people who don't listen or reason. The 7th and final one is Hawiya. Alright, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. The 7th stage of Jahannam is people whose scale on the Day of Judgment, scale of good deeds on the Day of Judgment is lighter than people who than what they did wrong. This is a dangerous game some people play. You know, they say, I will live my life in accordance with Allah Ta'ala. He fasts, he prays, but he also does sin. And he's banking on the fact that on the Day of Judgment his good deed will outweigh his bad deeds. He is banking on the fact he does good. He recites his Quran, he fasts during the month of Ramadan, he prays his Salah, but he also engages, he refrains from kicking away the sin. And his mindset is that on the Day of Judgment, my scale of good deeds will be heavier. This is a dangerous game to play, my dear brothers, when the consequences are so severe, when the punishment is so harsh. Allah Ta'ala says people who play this game, for them is Hawiya. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. If you get it wrong, my dear brothers, if it transpires, if it turns out that your scale of bad deeds is heavier, Hawiya is the Jahannam that Allah Ta'ala has prescribed for us. May Allah give us the tawfiq to actually stay away from all of these characteristics, and may Allah Ta'ala give us najat from the hellfire, all 7 of them. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. السلام عليكم.